Hello, everyone, and welcome to Politics Today on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Lagos. Everyone is worried about the state of security in the country, and that takes our attention tonight, too. But let's tell you that Mr. Abdul Maina, of course, you remember him. He may be extradited now back to Nigeria from Niger Republic to continue his trial over alleged 2 billion naira fraud. In a statement, the Nigeria Police Force explains that it is perfecting the extradition processes of the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Star Scheme, Abdul Maina, back to Nigeria. According to the police, Mr. Maina, who earlier jumped bail, was arrested last night in Niamey through the combined efforts of the Nigeria Police, Interpol, Abuja, and their Nigerian counterpart, and is currently in a detention facility in Niger Republic, awaiting the completion of the extradition processes. Maina and his company are facing a 12-count charge of money laundering to the tune of 2 billion naira. The court had ordered his trial to continue in absentia after he jumped bail in September. His surety, Senator Ali Ndume, was also remanded in prison for about 4 days until he was released last week, Friday. And so tonight, our attention is on the security matter in the country, and we're going to focus on some of the angles that have emerged today. So let me tell you that from the Senate, what we saw happen today was that the National Assembly weighed in heavily on the matter, and in the red chambers, the issue of a security situation in the wake of the murder of the rice farmers in Koshobe community of Borno State takes the center of attraction. Former Borno State Governor, Senator Kashim Shettima, warns that any government that cannot protect the lives of citizens loses any iota of legitimacy. Senator Shettima puts the number of farmers killed at 67 and is asking President Buhari to remove the security chiefs and replace them with new ones with ideas to address the alarming insecurity in the country. In the lower chamber, the House of Representatives passed a resolution to invite the president to brief the House on the true state of the security situation in the country. But the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, appealed that it will be inappropriate to invite the president to disclose the actions being taken, describing it as a counterproductive measure. Some members of the House were, however, visibly opposed to that position. The lawmakers also called for the declaration of state of emergency on security matters in the country. Let's look at what this means altogether. The two major matter on the table in regarding to the issue of security. One is a call for the sack of the security chiefs. The other is that President Buhari should appear before the House. What does this mean? Let's get a sense of it, everyone. I'm being joined by the spokesperson of the House of Representatives from Abuja studio, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs. And from Abuja also, we have a former Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General John Sadauna. General, thank you so much indeed for talking to us tonight. Perhaps we should look at things or start the conversation tonight from a technical point of view. That's your expertise, war and the issue of security. General, let me ask you, there have been a series of calls for the sack of the service chiefs. With this call today from Senator Shettima, who happens to be a former governor of Borno State, do you think that it is a necessary step for the president to take right now?
Yeah, thank you very much, Benga. At the moment, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the sack of the service chiefs shouldn't be of any priority to us now. Yes, the country is going through a lot of turmoil in respect of the challenges we are facing in the Northeast. But will the sack of the service chiefs actually restore peace, restore hope in this region? My opinion, I say no. Because we should look at the strong point of the elongation of service of this service chief. In their tenure, they've been able to put in sustainable structures in place, and this is only possible with the period within they have stayed. These structures covered areas of training, areas of operations, logistics, welfare of the troops, etc. Now, what we should be looking at is how do we cope these incessant killings of both the military and the civilians in this area. We should first of all look at the cooperation of the locals in this area, because the military can only fight with the information they have. They can only protect the citizenry with the information they have also from the citizenry. Remember that these terrorists live in our midst, and nobody else can help us except we help ourselves. So if we begin to dwell on the sacking of the service chiefs at this particular time, before this new service chief will even come, settle down, get himself into the whole challenges of the Northeast, we'll even be looking at the loss of more people.
But General,
So
quickly,
say,
if I may add to what you're saying, the question is that can you reward people when they're not getting result based on what we're saying, the spate of attacks and the situation of things, especially in the northeastern region of the country? Should they be rewarded with an extension of stay in office or a continued stay in office? That's perhaps some of the argument and the debate we saw today on the floor of the Senate.
If we pick on the happening of the killing of the 43 farmers as a yardstick to measure their success, I think we'll be wrong. We need to look at the whole gamut of operations in the Northeast. Remember that even the military is really, really overstretched. And in view of also, of all this, we should look at other areas of our security perspective and see whether, and ask ourselves if they've not lived up to our expectations. Now, talking about the military, if what the governor is doing right now of trying to make sure that the IDPs go back to their various homes, and if the indoctrination of them having to also assist the military in protecting them, that is by giving useful information and timely one, of course, this will go a long way to enable the military to make plans for the fortification and protection of this community. So what I'm saying is that this is what we should be looking at, actually, not in terms of picking a single case out of it and then we call for the sack of the service chief. I don't look at it as they are being remunerated or being rewarded for not working at all. We should look at it holistically and see, ask ourselves if they've actually not done the human's job. Yeah.
All right. So I will come back shortly to actually look at, if you think that they have done a good job, what about what we're saying as a result of the attacks that we're seeing recently? But let me go to Abuja studio where the spokesperson of the House is ready to talk to us, Honorable Benjamin Kanu. Honorable, your colleagues and yourself today had called that the president should appear before the House. Let's take our conversation from that point first and foremost before we look at the intervention of the House in the area of security. First and foremost, based on Section 89 of the Constitution, does the House have the power to summon President Buhari?
Thank you very much for inviting me to elaborate on what happened today. And viewers, thank you for tuning in. The issue of security in our country calls for concern. And as we have always said, that the Parliament, the Ninth Assembly, is a people's parliament. When there is a cry from our constituents, when there is weeping in any part of the constituencies that we represent, it becomes tears for the National Assembly. Today, the House of Representatives wept about what is happening in the northern states of Nigeria. We have made efforts, which you say we are going to discuss on the legislative interventions before now. The issue of invitation of Mr. President, many have used the word summon, some said invitation, and not the rest of them. To some, sounds like it is to disregard the office of Mr. President, or to ridicule the office of Mr. President, or to reduce the status of the office of Mr. President. That's a wrong narrative. I say so because beyond 88 and 89 provisions of the Constitution, with regards to investigation, with regards to our oversight function, there is also Section 67, Sub 1, which says that the President may attend any joint sitting of the National Assembly or any sitting of either house, either to deliver an address on national affairs, including fiscal measures, or to make such statements on the policy of government, which he considers very important to the nation. This is in our Constitution, and I'm sure most people are not making reference to this provision of the Constitution. The invitation to Mr. President is to have an interaction with him, having met with the heads of other security agencies in no distant past. And we deliberated on issues that we felt that needed to be, that we needed to discuss to help the country move forward, especially in securing lives and properties of our people, which is one of the mandates of the Constitution with regards to good governance. The expectation from any government is to secure lives, properties, and ensure welfare of the citizens. Security happens to be on the front burner, and we cannot say that we are legislating for the people, that we are representing the people, and we see people get slaughtered every day. I don't think Mr. President will have issues with, coming to see the National Assembly. I don't think so.
Honorable, if I may quickly cut in and so that you can address this. This is not the first time a president has been invited since 1999, and we are seeing such invitation being turned down. Some presidents have not appeared before the National Assembly. Sometimes they send ministers. Because we're looking at the implication, whether or not the move of the National Assembly is going to get us the right result. Should the president or President Buhari decide not to honor your invitation, what would you do?
Our democracy is an emerging democracy. And all over the world, in advanced climb, you don't have any problem seeing the president or the leader of government going to interact with another arm of government. I don't see any reason why it should be an issue in Nigeria. But like I said, we are still emerging as an advanced democracy. Over time, we will get used to some of these things that we attach so much importance to, which don't really mean a thing. If the other arm of government want to sit with the executive arm in order to find solution, it should not be misunderstood. It should not be seen as ridiculing. It's part of our constitutional mandate. We can invite anybody on 88 and 89, and even outside that, he can also come and brief us on government policies that are important. All the National Assembly want to do is to have a closed-door meeting. Many have asked me this question today, since this issue happened. Are the press going to be allowed? This is security affairs, security issue. You don't expect Mr. President to come in to discuss security issues, and we'll have all the press there. We sit down with him and ask relevant questions, just like we did with his heads of military, of the security agencies when they visited. None of them got ridiculed. None of them was embarrassed. They took their turns and their time to explain the step they've been taking. We made our proposals. They also made some requests to us with regards to legislative intervention on how to help them get their job done well. If that has not satisfied the intention of our constituents who elected us, it is high time we invited the number one person when it comes to ensuring the security of lives and properties in Nigeria. And his honoring that invitation is not to the parliament. Honoring that invitation is to the people of Nigeria. And I think Mr. President will honor it. You see, people have said over time, presidents are invited and they don't come. But that 8th Assembly also invited Mr. President and he was not there. The issue is not about the invitation. Whether he comes or he doesn't come, it's one of the strategic tools to be used in finding solution. If he doesn't come, there is still other prayers in that resolution, which I'm going to speak out.
All right.
But remember,
just the moment,
you don't expect the president to...
We're due for a break.
You don't expect the president to attend to the invitation of 8th Assembly that delayed his budget for 6 months. and you want to question him on what you have delayed his budget on for 6 months, what is he going to answer you? But this assembly has given him his budget right on time. We've made sure we equip him. All their requests, we make sure that we get it cleared. We change the budget calendar January to December. So there's no excuse why
just a moment.
Things are happening the way they're happening. So we want to hear if there are other challenges that we're not aware of.
All right, we are due for a break. When we come back, there are other issues also as regarding your role in ensuring that we end this issue. The governor has challenged the National Assembly. We'll be asking you much about that, and we'll allow the general also to weigh in on the way forward for the country. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. All right. So let me quickly get back to the Honorable in Abuja studio. Honorable Kalu, we're looking at the intervention of the National Assembly and the solution. So yesterday on the program, Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, said that some of the solutions to the insecurity problems in the country has been captured in the recommendations and the report of the APC Committee on True Federalism, and he has thrown the challenge to the National Assembly that these positions need to be translated into legislation. What are you doing about that if truly we are serious about getting the solution to the issue of insecurity?
Yeah, I would like to say that, let me round up something on the invitation of Mr. President, then we can go to this quickly. That section 67 I referred to, subsection 1, means that the president on his own can ask to sit with the joint house or either of the houses, and there are operative words there which says may, and may cannot be replaced by, with a share, which is a compulsory. It is also important to note that if it is not initiated by Mr. President to discuss important matters, the House, either of the House, can also invite him, not compel, for him to come and brief on what we consider as being important to the nation. But having said that, what is important to us as a House is more of the legislative intervention that we seek to achieve through that engagement, not on the issue of whether or not we have the right to compel or to summon or all the words that is being thrown about at the moment. The issue is that Nigeria needs a solution with regards to security. And all we can do as a legislature is through the instrument of motions and bills. And if there are emotions, we will come up with resolution. With bills, we come out with acts of the parliament. And we don't make acts of parliament every day. But we, through resolutions, can get the wishes, the desires, the ambition, the hunger of the people we represent made known to the executive for the purposes of formulating their policies and having a direction in their programs with regards to the hydra-headed needs of the people that we represent. Having said that, we have shown our commitment in our various levels with regards to what is happening in the country. When we intervene by inviting the heads of security agencies, and we had a discussion with them. And proposals were made, resolutions were reached, though not gazetted. It was through a private engagement, which some of them have been carried out, and some were still waiting for them to be carried out. One of the requests they made was for us to make sure that what we have commenced, which is this budget, early approval of budget, that we ensure that we sustain it. Because if they receive their budgets presentation, defense, and approval early, it will help them to be able to get the objective achieved. But you see, beyond budget approval comes backing it up with funds. Most of the agencies, when we approve budget and push it back to the executive, it is their responsibility to back them up, with funds to make sure that this will deliver as at when due. Having said that, this House is the only parliament, the leadership that has toured the torn zone in Borno and other areas, Katsina and other areas of the country. The Speaker went himself to go and see things firsthand, to know what is happening, to empathize with the people, and came back with a feedback to the House. Also, this House, through our legislative intervention, is bringing up what we call the military fund, intervention fund, which is going to be funded outside the budget, because all over the world, in most advanced climes, you don't fund wars like this nature, we are in at the moment. It's like war. You know, it's not.
All right.
It's nothing less than
Honorable.
war. You don't fund it from budget. You fund it from other sources, which this particular bill, military funding, has gone through the second reading.
Yeah.
Now, today,
Honorable,
we
just
moved
a moment,
a motion and a resolution that empowered the president to make use of emergency, to declare emergency on security. That is one of the interventions that we made today. And the people are asking, what is the relevance of that intervention? The relevance of that intervention is that during President Jonathan's time, he was able to go outside the box to bring in mercenaries and look at other strategic tools towards solving the problem of insecurity.
I'm afraid
the president cannot do if it's not within, if it's not operating under emergency situation. The House has given the mandate today for the president. Is one of the resolution, and people are not paying attention to that. People are paying attention to invitation of the president. But beyond the invitation of the president, we are giving him the window to.
Sorry, apologies. We are out of time, but I must sincerely thank you, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, spokesperson of the House, and Major General John Sadana. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time tonight. But that's our show for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.